What's good, people? It's your boy, Icarus Gray. And this is Gray Area Anime, the most wonderful podcast of your day. And we are back with another one. Hello. How goes? Remember that it's dangerous to go alone. So I choose you guys. And I'm glad to be back for another one. Feels good. Hope you guys are having a great day. I have an amazing episode planned for you today. If you've read the title or any of the things, it means that you know that my psychic powers have reached 100. And I detect that you're here to figure out why and figure out how maybe you can get great psychic powers. So let's get started, my guys, by bringing up the whiteboard. See what I did there? As a teacher, you have to have these tools to make sure you can teach the students well. And my whiteboard today, oh man, we're gonna have some fun. Mob Psycho Season 3. I love this show so much that I've done a lot of not research into it, but we'll call it research. I have done research into it in terms of the connecting points between the show, myself, and why I love it so much, where it connects with me on a much higher level. So we'll get into the first picture. So what I want to explain to you what Mob Psycho is and why I'm excited about season 3 coming around. So Mob Psycho 100 is about that guy right there, young Mob. I gotta make it here. So it's about Mob, but it's about this guy Mob, and Mob has psychic powers, extremely strong psychic powers at that. And the thing with Mob is that he, how can I put this normally, has trouble controlling his power. It's over 9,000! What? And what I mean by he has trouble controlling it is that there was a traumatic experience in his life where his powers caused him to injure his brother. And when he injured his brother, because he was upset and trying to protect his brother, he realized that it's probably not good to use his powers, is how he felt. These great power and gift inside of himself, he was very, very afraid to use. And I love this series for one of two reasons. One, because the premise in and of itself is us on a day-to-day basis. We're always dealing with our emotions. How do we manage them? How do we manage our mental limits, our breaks, and things of that nature to kind of keep us at what the world or society may consider normal? How do we do that? How do we stay in line and not appear weird or not become a burden to other people? Second reason I love this series is because of the art style. The art style is very beautiful to me. It's like a water painting come to life. And there's something about that matched with emotions and the fluidity of emotions and how they come that illustrates this perfect merge between emotions and what's true, what's real. And I'm really, really into that. I'm really, really into learning to control emotions, learning to sift through all of the bull, all of the BS, all of the day-to-day things that happen to us, to kind of get to the heart of it. You're trying to get to what is it that bothers us. It can be a little off-putting, I think, for some people because the style is not as tight. The animation is not as rigid as some can be. It, like I said, it's just fluid. There's something about it that seems like there's always a loose string or a loose thread, which once again plays into the theme of how our emotions are tied to everything. What I wanted to start with in terms of breaking everything down today was these essential points. The reason why I love this series, for one, is there's something about how Mob is mentally broken. And we all have been there in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And maybe you haven't, and I am actually congratulating you for that. But for those of us that have felt mentally broken, which means there's something that doesn't feel right. You feel a little bit off. You don't feel like yourself. You feel like those around you are kind of gonna see that brokenness, so you hide it. You form a shell around yourself, a numbing shell, if you will, something that kind of puts you in a position to where you don't necessarily have to feel. And what I've learned a lot about that, and what I've learned a lot through this series, is when we stuff down our emotions, when we're continuously trying to pretend as though we're not broken, pretend as though we're not experiencing any sort of feelings for the sake of others, you end up in a place where you can't really unbreak yourself. You can't heal. You're not going to fix yourself because you're continuously putting coals into a fire that is going to drown you out. That's going to smoke you out. That's going to end up taking all the oxygen from you and from who you are actually meant to be. Another aspect of this series that I love in terms of that is the kindness for weakness. Like, Mob is genuine. He is the genuine everyman in the sense that he loves, he cares, he is concerned for those around him. He believes those around him. Now, that's something I can say for myself. My big sister, I believe everything she tells me. And sometimes I should probably be a little bit more wary, but for me, she is truth. So when she says things, I listen and I'm like, yes, that is exactly what happened. And she could be telling me the sky is orange and only orange all day. And I'm like, she's thought about this deeply. I believe her. She does not take advantage of that in a bad way, outside of teasing me a lot. For others, that can be the kindness for weakness dynamic, in the sense that a lot of people will take that as permission to step over the line, to continuously be a habitual line stepper.
Habitually, he's a habitual line stepper.
And put people in positions to where you have to then show them that I'm not kind for the show of it. I'm kind because that's the genuine thing to do. The other part of that is, like I told you guys in the beginning, is reaching your breaking point. So you reach your breaking point and you're at this part where you've been pushed a lot. And I think it's something that kind of runs in my family. We don't like to infringe upon people. We like to stay out of the way, stay kind and be nice and whatever. But when you come for us, when you come for any one of us on a level that is something we don't like, we quickly reach a breaking point because family is important. Family is our breaking point. Don't mess with my family.
I don't have friends. I got family.
It's okay for us to joke with each other and do all these other things. But if you push my family, if you do something to them, the breaking point comes. And this anime executes that by always showing you a percentage of where Mob is in his mindset. What it is that he's thinking about, if something has caused him a level of emotional stress. And to the day-to-day, we don't really keep track of that a lot. We don't keep track of where are you mentally today? Are you at if somebody asks you to pass the salt level of aggravation that you're gonna like throw the salt at them? Or are you at a level that when they ask you, you're gonna pass it and nothing's gonna happen? It's just gonna be a nice cordial thing. You have to take assessment of that. And that's kind of what this anime showed me, was be in tune with that. Check yourself, understand what's going on around you, your surroundings, and be able to assess your emotional standing. I love this series for that, because we're always at a 0 or 100. We know the percentage. Do we check the percentage? No, we just kind of stuff things in the back. And then when we're blowing up on somebody, yelling at them, cussing them out, or doing whatever, they're wondering like, whoa, where did this come from? Well, it came from the 10% of being ignored in the middle of a conversation. It came from another 20% of my job was really stressful today. It came from another 30% of I was in traffic all day. This person hit me and ran off and didn't say anything to me. And the last 40% was in regards to all of that. I came home and I wasn't greeted with relaxation. I had more work to do, which didn't account for my day or the things that I was going through. And then we reached that breaking point. But the other part about all of this is confidence versus arrogance. Mob had this trauma happen to him, and he got to a point to where he felt like the power that he held was too much. It was too much for the world. It was too much for everything. And he ended up in this position of confidence versus arrogance. It's something that I've also dealt with. It's the reason why a lot of times I have issues with consistency of jumping into my gifts, like streaming with you guys, coming and talking to you, talking about the passion that I have for anime, or the passion that I have for music, or the passion I have for my faith walk. If you're not in tune with any of these things, then, what are you here for? But I presume you're here for a good reason. But you start to think that if you lean more into the gift that you know that you're good at, that instead of being confident, you're now being arrogant, that you're no longer in control because you're just looking down on people. You're not standing on your laurels as a good person. You're now using that gift for an advantage, and it can become crippling. So Mob ends up in a position of being crippled by the fact that he doesn't want to use his powers, that when he uses his powers is only when he's upset, and therefore he doesn't really take control of it, at least not in the first season, in a way that's productive for the things that he's trying to get out of life. And that's a battle I think that a lot of us face, is when you're extremely gifted, there's something that can come along and you'll look at other people and the things that feel easy to you, like it might be easy to you to bake a cake, bake blueberry muffins, whatever it may be. And because it's easy, you don't value it. You just think that it's something that everyone can do naturally. And it's really something that's specific to you. And you won't take ownership of it, because if you take ownership of it, you feel like you're being arrogant. You feel like you're standing above somebody, when it's just you're really good at what you do. You're really good at being yourself. You're really good at being who you're supposed to be and being successful, right? So with that, you end up in this last aspect of why I love the show is my gift a burden to others? Does me being great, or does me doing this thing well, stress somebody out? And you start to think too much about that. You end up in a place where your gift and stepping into the things that you need to do somehow makes somebody else feel away, and you make that your responsibility. You make it your responsibility, and therefore you hinder yourself. You hold yourself back. You put yourself in a position where you're not going to be able to reach a whole nother level, because you're stepping back. You're moving yourself into a prison, so to speak, because you're worried so much about everyone else but yourself. You're not even concerned about yourself. So this series takes that and finds a way to kind of weave all of these things in together. It weaves self-confidence. It weaves relationships, resentments, jealousy, dealing with the jealousy of if you have someone in your life that's very talented that you're around, and you wonder why you're not talented in that way. But yeah, so that's why I love this series. And I'm super excited that season 3 is coming soon. It is amazing. I suggest to all of you that you watch it. Hey guys, it's your boy Icarus Gray. If that video seemed like it ended a little bit too early, well, that's because it's a small part of a live stream that we do over at twitch.tv/Icarus_Gray. If you want to see the full stream, make sure you go over there to do that. All right. I just wanted to get that in there real quick before we ended this video. And since you're here, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the like. And don't forget to hit the bell so that way you can get notified for each time that we go live over here at Gray Area Anime. I'd really love to continue to grow our community, and I thank you for spending some time with me, and we'll do it again next time. Peace.